What's up, everyone? And this is Next Level Thinking.
What's up, everyone? It's another episode of Next Level Thinking, where we always bring you inspired guests to help you take it to the next level. It's your host, Chris Holmes, as always, but today I have a special guest by the name of
Valerie Johnson-Reed.
Awesome. So let's go ahead and start off by telling the audience a little bit about yourself.
Wow, where do I start? Okay, so I am a native of Compton, California. I actually grew up in Las Vegas, Nevada. I ended up in Texas because I wanted to attend an HBCU, and that HBCU is Prairie View A&M University.
Okay, awesome. So, on the journey, tell a little bit about, your college career path, because, you got people in the college atmosphere, so they can help you understand a little bit more in depth and detail of what's molding you up to today.
Okay. All right. Well, basically, my major was social work, and I did that, and then I ended up, after graduation, I ended up working for a year, and then going back to Prairie View to get my master's in sociology.
Okay, awesome. And as you got this degree, what was the key points from when you go into college, you get exposed to different kind of things and like that. And while you were getting exposed, why is it important for students after they graduate to high school get exposed to different atmospheres like that?
I think it's important just because it helps you decide on kind of where you want to go in life, and it kind of gives you a purpose. For me, I didn't have exposure to college life that much as my kids do now. My mom attended UNLV. She got her master's from UNLV, and we were able to go to the college campus with her. But of course, that college campus experience was a lot different than attending an HBCU. So I got to see what a predominantly white institution, what that life was like on a Saturday classes. But I didn't get the full effect. And my first experience going to a college campus, an actual college campus, to me was when I first decided to go to Prairie View, and I was a freshman.
Okay. And so, how did you come to that decision to decide to go to Prairie View? Was it just I'm just going there, or was different events happened to lead up to that?
Well, for me, I knew I wanted to do something a little different. I knew going to the traditional college was not for me. I felt like I needed to be in smaller class sizes, and as I did my research on HBCUs, and I realized that the class sizes would be smaller and that would fit my needs more so. So that's how I ended up wanting to go to HBCU, actually. And then I really wanted to go to attend Norfolk State in Virginia, and that was just too far for my mom's comfort. So she said, well, pick a school in Texas. So I decided between Prairie View and TSU. I applied to both, got accepted to both, and I ended up choosing Prairie View because they sent me my dorm information, housing information first.
Oh, so it's the dorm.
Yes, Drew Hall, yes.
So when it comes to that, did you get affiliated with any kind of organizations and stuff like that? Because, you want to get the whole college experience, learn from your peers and much more.
Absolutely.
So, tell us a little bit more on that.
Okay. I actually just my freshman year, of course, you just kind of sit back and observe. You go to class and you kind of take it in. It was a new experience for me. It was kind of like a culture shock because, to be honest with you, coming from Las Vegas, Nevada, I had never been around that many black people in my life. And I mean, it wasn't a bad thing. It was just different for me. And I mean, I just found it to be fascinating because I did not know that there were so many different people from different places. And
so when you came to the campus, it was there is a lot more people than what I thought.
It was amazing. So I just took a lot of the culture in and enjoyed a lot of things, and I truly had a college experience. And basically I observed and I checked out different organizations, and I kind of did a little research. And one of the organizations that stood out to me was Wisconsin Sleepers, which is a co-ed social organization, which also does community service. And that stood out to me a lot because it was co-ed, it was boys and girls. young men and young women. And it was just intriguing to me how they could work together, how they could be together, and it just be a brotherhood, a sisterhood.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, that brotherhood and, like, supporting each other as you grow
Right.
through things.
Absolutely.
And of course, like, doing the community service is the bonus on top, because it's like another way of just giving back.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And then I went on from there. After I did that, I went ahead and kind of did some more research on Greek sororities. And I did have a few young ladies from Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I started doing my research on that sorority, and I ended up becoming a part of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. And I've been a member of Sigma Gamma Rho for 27 years now.
Mm-hmm. Where your jacket at?
It's in the room, but it's over there. But I got it. It's Rovember, and I have it. I have it. Yes.
But it gives some kind of info.
It's right there. It's right there.
It's right there.
That's right.
Yep. So, like, when you're getting involved, of course, in organizations and much more, you get pushed a little bit of like outside your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times in life, like, people want to stay in that comfort, the safe zone. Mm-hmm. But it's like when you step outside of your comfort zone, it's like when the true growth really begins to happen.
Absolutely. It just in the college experience made me feel like, okay, I see all these other people doing awesome things, and it just made me want to join. It made me want to join in. It made me want to do things. It made me want to, see things that I had never experienced before. So I learned a lot from that college experience.
Most definitely. And then, like, you're going through these experiences, starting to find out more and more about yourself.
Absolutely.
And just knowing, like, who you are. I think more times people need to just ask that question, just be trying to be honest, like, who am I?
Yes. And just knowing your purpose. What is your purpose? Some people realize their purpose earlier than others, and some, it takes us a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But
patience is a virtue.
It is. It is. And once we realize what our purpose is, we can kind of walk in our purpose. But sometimes it just takes us a little bit longer. And then once we realize what our purpose is, it's just like, just do it and stop operating in fear. Stop being afraid. Don't be afraid to actually walk in
Just
purpose.
do it. Like, you just do it.
Yes.
Because, like, when you say hold on to fear, I mean, that's what, like, prevents you from, like, reaching to your destination. You can't be, like, holding back to the past and be like, oh, I can't get there.
Right.
And you're like, but, you're holding on to dead weight. Until you, like, finally let go of that dead weight, then you're going to actually just, launch into the future that you need to become.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So, also, if you didn't know, we have a author in the house, so go ahead and pick up the book and show what we have. Stay strong, finish strong.
That's
so
right.
The title itself, speaks volumes wrong itself.
Yes.
So not only just stay strong, but you gotta finish strong. That means not giving up in the first, second quarter, means going all the way.
That's right. That's right.
So how did you come up with the title for this book?
Well, the title was inspired by my mom when she was in her last stages. And she was getting ready to transition from this life to the next. She said a lot of different things to me, and one of the things that she said to me that stood out was that she said, you're going to have to be strong. And during that time, I heard her, but I didn't really hear her. And
you're like, okay.
Yeah, I wasn't.
You didn't want to, like,
I wasn't prepared for it, and I really did not want to be prepared for it. But those were some words that stood out to me, and for me, I was just like, okay, that it just stuck with me, and I was like, okay, there's a purpose behind her saying that. That was one of the many things that she said to me, but those words stood out to me. Mm-hmm. So that's where the title came from, and also it helped me realize the title of my motivational speaking, which is Strong to the Finish, motivational speaking. And then when I started writing the book, I said, okay, stay strong, finish strong. In order for us to stay strong and to continue in life, we have to be able to focus and continue to be strong
all the way through,
so we can finish strong.
Because it's like, I can just throw into the analogy of sports, because when you have those sports teams that start off all strong in the beginning, first, the second quarter, they're blowing them out,
right,
and then they ease off on the gas pedal, like, oh, we got it, we can just relax, and all of a
Right.
sudden that fourth quarter can now they just almost is like tied up,
Right.
and people are going like, I flipped the channel, and now all of a sudden we have a game.
Right. Right.
So what happened?
Right.
And he's just like staying strong from the beginning all the way to the end.
Absolutely.
And it's just that consistency and being disciplined and just, that resiliency not to give up is what makes you separate from the others. Because when most people face adversity and things like that, it's just like, no, I'm done. I'm not
Right.
going to do it.
Right.
But are you going to be willing to get back up? Get back
Absolutely.
up into the fight?
And that's the key thing, not to give up, not to just stay in bed and put the covers over your head, to get up every day and understand
No.
that everything happens for a reason,
Yep.
for whatever that reason is.
Or just a learning lesson for you to overcome or to
Yes.
build you into a stronger person.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like my technology right here just went out.
Well, yes, we for whatever reason, we don't know, we don't understand, but it did.
Okay, so go ahead and give us a little bit more insight about the book of Stay Strong, Finish Strong, like
Okay.
the top 3 things that people may get from reading this.
Sure. I would say the top 3 things, one of the top 3 things would be that you get hope. You'll get hope, you'll get encouragement, you'll get the inspiration to know that everything will be okay eventually.
It's that faith.
Faith. Just to know that everything's gonna be okay. It might not look like it's gonna be okay, but eventually it does work out and things become more calm and it becomes okay.
And it's like believing to the unseen and keep moving forward.
Absolutely.
And I definitely like that, like, because if you look at a lot of like successful people, from like the you got from Steve Harvey, Amazon and all these other big companies. Even like, there was a time where flying was just a thing for the birds.
Right.
And when somebody said that, it was like, are you crazy? Like, there's no way they're going to be able to get up there. And now we have planes like it's the normal thing. People travel international all the time.
Yes.
So it's imagination is really the key of opening many different opportunities.
Right.
And I believe like Einstein, said his own words, but I'm like paraphrasing like my own little spiel. But imagination is where it's at.
Right.
Because you're challenging what's normal.
Absolutely. And I think it's easy to be regular. How many people really want to stand out? How many people really want to do something different? And challenge yourself to do something different.
And
So,
are they going to put in the work?
Yeah.
Because that's what's going to really separate most people from the others. Is of course everybody has the big dreams and things that they want to accomplish in their life and much more. But are you going to really put in the work?
Absolutely.
Kind of goes a saying like, faith without work is dead.
That's right. And it's true. It's very true. I've met a lot of people, and how we met is at the National Black Authors Expo. But I've met a lot of people after I wrote my book. I've met a lot of people that said they want to write a book, and I was like, okay, y'all, it's not that easy. I think people think you do something, they think it's just the easiest thing to do, and it's just
It's like it's just gonna roll right in their
yes,
hands.
it's just like it's not that easy.
It's like I'm just gonna wake up and all of a sudden the camera and the
Yes.
paparazzi gonna show up in my hand.
Absolutely.
I'm like, oh my goodness, I
It's
wonder
just
what
not
now.
that easy, and that's just how life is. It's not. I mean, it looks easy. We look at different celebrities and people who've made it, and we think, oh wow, their life has always been the way it is.
They had the battles like everybody else.
Absolutely.
I mean, even like, okay, I'm gonna use like an example that everybody, most people in sports and basketball know, like even Michael Jordan. I mean, don't forget this dude didn't even make his high school basketball
Absolutely.
team.
Absolutely.
So like he could have said, forget it, it's not for
Absolutely.
mine, it's not my kind of skill. But he was like, no,
Right.
even though you don't believe I'm supposed to be playing, I'm gonna show you otherwise.
Absolutely. He had to have that within him to want to do that. He didn't accept no as an answer. So
To the point where you practice a shot over and over and over again, and pretty much like he's one of the like top basketball players out there.
Right.
Of course, we have others, but also that if we want to switch to another sport, like Muhammad Ali. And you know
Right.
what? Speaking of Muhammad Ali, it's funny we're talking about that because there was a time when he was going against these other top ranking fighters in his weight class, and he was saying like, I'm the greatest. I'm the greatest of all time. And people were like, what?
right.
On the numbers, you're not even It's like you're this to this.
Right.
It doesn't even look like you have a chance to shine like, I am the greatest.
But he said it.
Yeah.
But he said it.
Yeah. You got to speak into existence.
That's right.
And believe it.
That's right.
And then put the actions and work behind it. Because the thing is, like, he was speaking about all these things, but people didn't realize all the work that he put in the gym.
No.
It's that work.
No. And that's behind the scenes that people don't understand. When you set your mind to do something, or God has given you the purpose and the plan to do something, it's work behind the scenes. It's not always in front of the cameras. It's not always, going to be a Facebook Live or Instagram post where it's going to show you everything. You think about when people are trying to lose weight and you're working out, and you don't see everything, but you see the results. You see the results. So, it's a lot of work that goes behind the scenes, and I think a lot of times we don't really want to put in the work. We want the glitz and the glamour. We want all the things. We want the pain and all that. But we don't want to sweat.
No pain, no gain.
That's right.
Then even like I have a poster in my room where I can't remember exact words, but even Muhammad Ali said like there was days where he hated training, but he knew he had to do what he had to do.
Absolutely.
To get ready.
Absolutely.
Because he knew someone out there, like if he didn't train to get himself prepared, somebody else was ready to take his spot.
Absolutely. Every day.
Every day, nonstop.
That's right.
It's a marathon.
That's right.
Yep. So even from going from this, stay strong and finish strong, what is like, because you were speaking like in motivational and things like that, you always impacting kids. What is like one thing that you could say to the kids today to help them keep moving forward? Because, as little kids, they face all kinds of, adversity and much more.
They do. I think a lot of times, and it's something that I tell my personal children, but it's also something I tell my students. Just because life events happen to you and things might not be the way you planned or worked out the way you planned, it doesn't mean you throw in the towel and you give up. You keep going, you work hard, you do what you can to accomplish your goal. After my husband died, I talked to my own personal children. I said, we're going to deal with this. We're going to work through it. But I still expect you to perform at school.
Exactly.
I still expect you to be a good citizen in the community or in the school. I still expect you to get good grades. And so I had to set that standard and say, hey, yeah, we've been through some things. Yes, our lives have not been easy, but I still have the expectation of we don't let that bring us down to where we can't function.
If anything, make it stronger.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
And just is like going back to discipline, consistency, and things like that.
Absolutely.
And even if you it kind of reminds me when sometimes I go to the boxing gym, it's like when you take those punches,
but you gotta get back up.
Get back up. But not only that, you can't show that it phased you.
That's right.
So you may take a strong punch.
That's right.
But you better bounce back and be like, all right.
That's right.
Even though in your mind you're like, this really hurt.
That's right.
I'm about
really
to let you find out.
That's okay. They will never know. Exactly.
Because the moment you want like this,
exactly,
then the other person's like, oh, okay, you're done.
That's right. That's right. I think another thing that I tell my personal children as well as my students that I teach, we study traditional, what they call it, literary nonfiction. And basically it's the story of someone's life told in a narrative.
Okay.
And one of my favorite books that I did last year, we worked with over the years, it's called Wilma Unlimited, and it's about the life of Wilma Rudolph.
Okay.
And it's a picture book that talks about her life and how she was stricken with scarlet fever that resulted in polio and all of that.
She
and
had all kinds of challenges.
All kinds of challenges. And had she
just stopped,
because they had her in a wheelchair, they had braces on her leg, but had her mother not said my child would walk again, and had Wilma not believed that she would walk again, that she would run, imagine we would never have the privilege of knowing who she was today. So I tell people, every great person has been through trials and tribulations. We've all been through something, but we don't let it take us down to where we can't get back up.
Or in other words, also, like there's nothing new under the sun.
Right.
Everybody has gone through a struggle.
That's right.
Everybody goes through that. And then, sometimes we're like, oh, they don't understand. Well, have you ever thought about walking a mile in their shoes? They don't know what things that they may be facing that may impacting, or like why they think like that.
That's right. That's right. Absolutely.
So when it comes to that and much more, when it comes to motivational speaking, like what is like a tip like that you would give to people who want to like go into that career path?
I would say, and I would just say, just be yourself. I would also say, just tell your story as your story.
Nothing's more like powerful than your own story.
Right. And I mean, everybody's story is different. We all have a story. Everybody's story is different, but tell your story the way it happened. Mm-hmm. I was speaking with a young lady who is interested in, she's writing her book actually, and she was just asking me what I thought about a certain subject matter in her book. And I said, well, do you want people to read this book? Do you want them to, what do you want? Because it was some personal stuff she was going to share. And I said, are you okay with sharing it, first of all? Because that's the main thing. You have to be okay with, is the plan for you to be transparent?
Because if you are, that means other people.
Absolutely. Because because in my book, I'm very transparent. I tell a lot about my life, my growing up, being in high school, being in college, after those, after graduating from college. Mm-hmm. My life was like experiencing the death and loss of my family members. I tell a lot, and I had to tell her, I said, well, what do you want? Because me personally, I want to know the struggles that people have been through. Why? Because that's going to help encourage me through my struggles. So,
because it makes it a lot more relatable.
Right.
You don't feel like you're the only person.
Exactly. So I told her, I said, I just think you need to think about what's your purpose? What is your point? And so she was like, okay, I never thought about it like that. So I was
sure,
like,
that did. What's your purpose? What is your point?
Yeah.
Hands up.
That's right.
So, like, with all that and said and much more, what is... See how I want to go with this one. I guess the one I want to really get to is like when people want to really take action. Like, what do you think is the biggest thing holding them back? Do you think it's like friends, family?
I think it's a lot of different factors. I think it's fear of the unknown.
Okay.
I think it can be friends and family, because you have to remember now, when you're different, or when you get to the point where you want to share your story or share your life with other people,
it's like you looking for validation.
Yeah, because either people are going to be on board with you and say, hey, that's good, go tell it. Or people are going to say, you don't need to tell that, that's family business, or you don't need to, you sure you want to tell that, So
I don't think that's such a good idea.
Right.
And then here comes all the other fears and much more.
Right. So I just think you have to get to a point in life where you're okay with yourself and you're okay with sharing your story.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. You're okay with yourself, and you're okay with sharing your story with other people. And I just feel like this, if my whole purpose, which it is to encourage others, I don't mind sharing about my life, because I know that within my story, someone's going to be encouraged.
Impacted.
Yes, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Great. So, let's see. With all of that and much more, like, what is... Okay, I'll go this way. Do you have a person or something that you look up to that kind of keeps you going?
Oh man,
Minty.
I know that's a hard one. I do. I have a lot of different people that I do. Unfortunately, most of those people are not here any longer. But when I think about what I do, I think about my mom. I know that I have my speaking voice, and I know I have my writing hand I inherit that from her, because that's the type of person she was. Mm-hmm. And I realized that after I thought about it, and after I had written everything down,
it clicked.
It clicked, because my mother would always be asked, will you do the welcome at the program? Will you introduce the speaker? Will you do this and do that? And she was doing this, but she wasn't doing it on this level, mm-hmm. or at this angle, but she was doing some of the same things, and I didn't, at the time, being a young child, I didn't see it, I didn't understand it. Mm-hmm. But now when I think back and I reflect, I say, she was doing it. She just passed the torch to me, and now I'm doing it.
It was like that hint.
Yes. So I think my mom was a big inspiration to me. She still is today. She was definitely a big impact on me and my brother in our lives, because she was willing to take a chance to do whatever it took to take care of us and make sure we had everything we needed.
And I like how you said that, like willing to take a chance and do whatever it takes to get it done.
Yes.
And sometimes you guys got to get to that mindset. I'm going to take a chance and do what I have to do to get it done.
Do what you got to do.
Yeah, and the best example is that, especially like, mothers who have to really step it up.
Yes.
And they think like, okay, I got to, or my kids are not eating.
Absolutely.
Or their father, or their dad's like, okay, if I don't get the glycine cut off.
That's right.
Like once you get shifted to that, that's when you really start moving.
That's
but
right.
imagine if you have that when you're not in that situation, but you're constantly on to that, the gear. I mean, you just make doors, like you break through them.
That's right.
You make things happen.
Well, and a lot of times things have to happen for us to push us to that point to where we are, okay, I know I have to do this. And it's like a lot of times as long as we're comfortable, we're not going to do that.
Yep, and then...
But we have to have something kind of give us that push, or we got to jump a little bit to make it happen.
And, I'm going to go ahead and say it like this. Like, a lot of times we feel like we got forever. Like, we have all the time in the world.
Absolutely.
And it's like that leads to a lot of procrastination, things like that.
It does.
But just imagine if you knew you only had 1 week left.
That's right.
Then you really kick in sixth gear, like, oh, snap.
That's right.
I have this done, got to get this done, got this. It changed your whole perspective about life.
Well, and it's funny you said that, because after experiencing the losses the way I did, it changed the way I look at life. It changed the way I look at opportunities. I don't look at opportunities as, oh, I could do that tomorrow. No, we're going to get this done today, because tomorrow's not promised. When you see people talking to you one day, the next day their eyes are closed forever, it changes your perspective on our time. Time is filled with swift transition, and we don't have the time. So anytime that I have opportunity to, talk to people, get to know people, meet new people, get to meet you, get to do different opportunities, this opportunity, I want to do it because I don't know when that chance will come again.
And you may.
If it will come again.
And now's your time to send that message.
That's right.
Or that may have been the person to open your door.
That's right.
But if you didn't walk through or just reach out.
That's right.
You missed the opportunity or the blessing could have shared. Yeah.
That's right.
Yep.
And I believe that. I firmly believe that.
Okay. So with all this greatness and much more, where can they find you in the book and much more?
Well, Stay Strong, Finish Strong is in Amazon. Is at Amazon. It's on Amazon. And I'm working with some other distributors to get it in other places as well. But for now, it's on Amazon. If they want to reach out to me to obtain a copy, because I love to sign the copies and put my personal touch on it, yes.
The touch.
I can be reached on Facebook. My name is Valerie Johnson Reed on Facebook, and they can just inbox me or direct message me. Or I do have a Facebook page on through my motivational speaking, which is Strong to the Finish Motivational Speaking, and that's on Facebook. I have Instagram, which is Strong to the... I have Twitter, but I don't know. Twitter hasn't really been my friend, so I don't know. I'm still trying to work through Twitter. But I can also be reached. Here's my phone number, 832-215-3012, and just call me. I'll answer. If I can't answer, I won't answer. But if I'm available to answer, I will. I love speaking to just people in general, but I would love to speak to women and just encourage women and just encourage people just to stay in the race. Hang in there.
Hang in there. She's going to be on Oprah next.
I hope so. I'm praying so. Yes, hook me up. I need it.
Yes. So we're going to go ahead and close it out. It's your host, Chris Holmes, as always, bringing you inspired guests to help you take it to the next level. And I have my special guest, C-Tech. This says, it's late at night, forgive me.
You tired. It's okay.
And I have my special guest by the name of
Valerie Johnson Reed.
All right, peace and much love.